What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down why Tesla's looking very explosive right now as we're making a very, very nice move to the upside. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon in just a couple of weeks. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with Tesla. So Tesla saw a very explosive move at the end of the day. We were just consolidating at 375 a share for almost the entire day. Then during the final hour, we saw a lot of buyers stepping in, pushing the share price up. And we saw Tesla break the resistance past 378. So in the weekly time frame, we have a nice slanted inverse head and shoulders, and Tesla remains very, very strong right now as we could be approaching all-time highs very soon. The $400 target looks very imminent, and I think Tesla's looking very, very strong after some new ratings have come out and lots of positive news. The first thing is Deutsche Bank has adjusted their Tesla price targets to $370 a share. That's absolutely incredible. Their old target was $295, so that's a very, very nice buy rating that's been maintained. And I think this is very, very bullish news. But then we also had Fubon Securities come out. They're also adjusting their Tesla price targets to $472 a share from $330 before. They're maintaining a buy rating as well, and this is once again even more bullish news. So absolutely incredible to see them doing what they have to do, and I think that this is just making me very, very excited. So I think that these analysts are coming out. We're seeing it becoming very common for them to be approaching $400 price targets or even above. And now with these different analysts starting to push and raise the bars, all this hype involving the robotaxi is really helping it alongside other factors. Now, when it comes to the robotaxi, there was news that came out yesterday about how the robotaxi is going to be expected to be having about half as many parts as the Model 3 and the Model Y. And that's an amazing piece of news. This could all bring costs down, and then simultaneously, it's going to make it easier to maintain. So that's a very bullish piece of news, at least according to these different engineers. And I can't wait to see how this benefits Tesla. Besides that, we have more ratings that came out over here. We had Guggenheim give Tesla a sell rating despite how it's pushing. They think that Tesla's fundamentals don't align with the current share price. That's their right to have an opinion, but just know that Tesla remains very strong. Bank of America Securities gave Tesla a buy rating. Stifel did the same thing. So the buy ratings are still there. The price-price ratio is exploding as Tesla's greatly outperforming the markets. And Mondays and Tuesdays are historically the strongest days of the week for Tesla. They tend to be green the majority of the time on those days. So that's what's going on, at least going into next week. We saw a big surge in volume towards the end of the day as well, so that was nice to see. For the broader markets, just know this. We saw some stocks like Nvda sell off. We saw a lot of financial sell off and a lot of small caps looking weaker. But then we had those anomalies out there like Tesla being up 5%, Amazon held up 3%, and the others out there were more flat. So amazing work from certain tech stocks out there from the Mag 7. Other ones were a little bit flat and weaker like Apple and Nvidia. And then the whole market was like a little bit more mixed. I think tech was held up by like Amazon, Meta, and the others. And now we're going to be watching to see how things end up going from here. This is what the earnings calendar looks like for next week, by the way. There's not much coming out that's too significant. We have like Oracle and AI announcing earnings. Then we also have others out there like AutoZone, and then GameStop and more retail like Macy's, Adobe, and the list goes on. And Costco has earnings on Thursday. So Costco is going to be very important for retail, so watch for that. Besides that, when it comes to our economic calendar, for Monday, just keep in mind there's very, very minor data coming out. For Tuesday, it's all going to be very, very minor. We just have non-farm productivity, and there's nothing else that's too significant. But then we have CPI coming out for the month of November on Wednesday, December 11th. So look for some volatility with that. We have PPI coming out on Thursday, followed by Friday with more minor data. So that's pretty much it. Very, very minor stuff so far. Nothing too significant, at least for the week, besides CPI and PPI. With that being said, what do I see for Tesla? Honestly, guys, it looks like we're going for the 400 plus targets. It looks very strong and very bullish. There's a lot of momentum. It likes to kind of like slow down upon open before it starts to push. But overall, I think that we're going to be going to all-time highs at this point. It looks very, very strong. We could even try to break all-time highs and try to get to 420. I think it looks very, very strong, guys. There's no sign of this stopping. There's continually very, very bullish ratings that come out for it. But once we get to these all-time highs, there might be some increased like shop, especially because there might be some profit taking and selling right at that psychological 414 to 420 range. But besides that, it remains very, very bullish. For SPY, I want to call this one out because it's very interesting. So on the 4 hour time frame, we have a big test that's coming up for SPY. Yes, SPY is on a massive uptrend, but there is one issue. We closed below 608, so it's a very, very tough resistance. Now, it's possible we try to break past 608. It's still, it's still very possible, but the issue is it's a very, very tough resistance. If we can't break that, there is a risk of us retesting 605, and we'll have to see if we bounce off that or not. So we have a little range that's being established between 605 and 608. We'll have to see if SPY can hold above that. And that's why I called out that level in the morning. So this is going to be a big test on SPY, showing a little bit more weakness compared to like the QQQ. On ES, it's basically the 6100 area. That's a little bit tougher for it to break, so please be very careful. So 6100 is a tough resistance. And we have support at 6080, so I'll be watching to see how well this holds up. Besides that, we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on a big breakout. We're already in the 100,000 area. So here's the thing, 100,000 is a very big psychological area. Once we get above it, we kind of get sold off right below it. So it's now trading sideways between that range. I do expect it to continue to trade sideways near 100,000 for now. Not really doing much. So give it some more time to develop. For Nvda, this has formed a rejection like structure, but then here's the thing about it. The first thing is this could be a giant inverse head and shoulders that's forming. This doesn't show any signs of bouncing yet, so we're going to be watching to see if 141.5 holds. If that does not hold, this could be dipping lower to like 140 flat, so just please keep that in mind. But with that being said, there is going to be a risk of us potentially dipping a little bit lower before it tries to bounce. So just keep that in mind for Nvidia. It's still a little bit weak. But we'll see what happens with the news, especially because we have CPI coming out for next week. For NQ, it's very strong. We managed to close with 21,600. We'll have to see if this holds above that level. We're nearing a bullish cross on the PPO again, so it's still strong. It could dip a bit before it tries to continue to go higher. There's no sign of reversal quite yet. It still remains very bullish. Same thing with the QQQ. I was a little bit concerned about it turning here or maybe seeing some consolidation, but we didn't turn much. It just got bought back up thanks to big tech. So this remains a lot more bullish. We could continue this uptrend to about 528 or so. Overall, there's no sign of it stopping. If we don't hold above 525, though, if we end up rejecting, we lose that, there is a risk it tries to retest 523.64, which is where the breakout happened to be. And if that fails us, we're looking for 520. So make sure you watch those levels. We'll see if we hold up above here, but just know that regardless if there's a small dip or not, this was going to likely continue to pump. It's a very, very strong uptrend. There's no sign of it stopping. Apple is showing some weakness because we hit 244 and kind of rejected. Now we're looking at 242 as our main support in this range. If that fails us, we're looking for 241.33, then 240. So make sure you watch those levels very closely. It's just range bound for now, but there's a risk of this dipping a little bit lower. For others out there, we have the IWM Russell 2000. This is on a bit of a downtrend right here, making lower highs. It's a little bit weak compared to the market because we failed to close above our 20 EMA at 239.7. I do anticipate a test of 238.5 for next week, and if that fails us, this will continue to downtrend for a bit. But this could be forming a giant flag where it downtrends before it gets a big bounce. We'll see about that. For now, just know the trend's a little bit more bearish. We're not ready to bounce quite yet. For Coinbase, we made a very, very nice attempt to get up to about 350. Now we're dipping a little bit back down. So I presume we're going to most likely be in a range for now. There might be a little dip to about the 330 area before it tries to bounce, but we might be retesting this breakout at 330 before it tries to bounce again. It's bullish overall in terms of the trend as it's making higher lows, but there might be a small dip coming firsthand. Amazon is very strong, very, very bullish. It made a great move as well. Fubon Securities also adjusted its targets to about $260 a share. So that's very, very bullish news, despite the lawsuit that ended up coming out. So this is bullish. Unless we lose 222.5 and then 220, we still favor that we might be going up for 230 plus. There's no sign of rejection yet, so it might go a little bit higher. Meta, it's trying to push higher, but the problem is we do have a tough resistance. We hit 630. It's becoming a little bit tougher here, so it might dip a little bit more to the breakout area at 620 to like 615. That range could dip a bit before it tries to continue to go higher. That would be very, very healthy, but overall, it remains very bullish. For Microsoft, we're on a very, very nice uptrend. It's consolidating around 444 for now. If we break that, we're looking for a much larger push for 448 plus. If this rejects, we're coming back down towards 438. We're kind of stuck in the middle, just range trading for now. So we'll have to see which way this goes. But nonetheless, it's still on a very, very nice uptrend. We'll have to see if we could hold above 444 or not. It looks like it might shop around there for some time, if anything. So we'll just have to give that a little bit more time to like develop and such. So with that being said, guys, the last one I'm going to go over is Google. Google hit this high at 178, but notice that we made a lower high here. So there is a risk of us dipping closer to 175 again before we try to bounce. We'll see about that. Might dip a little bit from here. Might see a small dip here before it tries to rebound, but the trend remains bullish. Unless we lose 173.68, the trend still remains bullish. With that being said, Tesla is a monster. It's getting ready for a big move to the upside, so make sure you guys are prepared for that. And be careful when it comes to entries. You don't want to just FOMO in. You want to be very careful with those. But with that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and enjoy the weekend. I'm going to keep this video a little bit short because of the weekend that's coming up, and I'll be back tomorrow with another update. Until then, I appreciate you guys so much for your attention, and peace out.